Okay, hello everyone. Clarke Towson here. I'm the CEO of INTJ Billing. Today's video, I'd like to discuss a blockchain letter from Pantera Capital. That's panteracapital.com. The letter is titled The Seventh Bull Cycle. I encourage you all to go over to panteracapital.com and sign up for their regular newsletter, and it's always a very interesting read. So the part of the letter that I'd like to discuss today is the Bitcoin price cycle analysis section. It's quite interesting. And what they're saying is that blockchain will change the world, but unfortunately that massive promise causes market participants to go wild, both too bullish at times and too bearish at times. But over the long term, Bitcoin has been in a secular uptrend 2.3 times annually over the past 12 years on average. So that saying is that every 12 months over the last 12 years, Bitcoin has increased by 2.3 times. Then you can see on screen now the Bitcoin price trend graph. You can see the trend is up, and up by a lot. Now, interestingly, they've created these tables here: Bitcoin bull markets and Bitcoin bear markets, and just like to go through those tables now. So, Pantera Capital believe that blockchain assets have seen the lows and that we're in the next bull market cycle right now. And they're saying, regardless of what happens in the interest rate sensitive asset classes, we are in a bull market. And the decline from November 2021 to November 2022 was the median of the typical cycle. And this is the only bear market to more than completely wipe out the previous bull market. In this case, giving back 136% of the previous rally. The medium downdraft has been 307 days, and the previous bear market was 376. Median drawdown has been a minus 73% downdraft, and the latest bear market ended at minus 77%. Now, it's interesting when you look at the drawdowns. Drawdowns can tell you a lot about where we're currently at with Bitcoin, okay? So if you think about where Bitcoin's price is currently, it's about 31,500 Australian dollars per Bitcoin. And you think about where we are, right? As a technologist, I'm always looking at technology and saying, okay, how early are we, right? How dominant is this technology? How many people are using it? What's its total addressable market? And so on, right? Questions like that, right? So what percentage of the population has got a Bitcoin wallet? How many people are investing in Bitcoin? What percentage of their net worth is in Bitcoin? So on and so on and so forth. Now, when you look at these types of declines, these declines can tell you a lot, right? What they tell me is that Bitcoin is even earlier than what we all think, right? Certainly, I remember last year, about a year out, it was November. It was November 2021 at the market highs. I remember having a discussion with some people back in Australia, and I thought that Bitcoin was further along than what it actually was, right? And I guess that's something that people who are very close with technology and working in technology, we forget sometimes that, well, hang on, the average person isn't that far ahead, right? And I know I always see this when I travel, right? A great example of this is whenever I travel to Thailand, okay, I turn up to the airport, and they've got those two lines. They've got a standard line to go to the check-in counter, and then they've got the internet check-in line. And the internet check-in line, there's very few people in that line, right? And the other line is always very long. Now, all that someone needs to do is whip out their mobile phone and do an internet check-in, and then they can walk down that line. But you see, even for something like that, people are not, they're not thinking, right? They're not thinking to go and do that, right? I, of course, do it before I even turn up to the airport. But it tells you a lot when you look at these drawdowns, right? That we're not as far into Bitcoin as what people who are very close to Bitcoin thought. So that's something that I learned during the last, or certainly during 2022. Because what will happen is once Bitcoin gets to a certain stage of its development and value, i.e. in the multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars per Bitcoin, these types of drawdowns, okay, shouldn't be as deep, right? It shouldn't be anywhere near as deep as this over time, all right? And I think if you look at a trend, and people have done this analysis before, the drawdowns do get slightly less each time, right, on the average. So if we have a look at these tables on screen now, Bitcoin bull markets, you see the low date, low price, high date, high price, number of days, and the price increase. So 2011, 2013, 15, 18, 2021, and 2022. So this current bear market, the previous bear market, 2022, it's a long bear market, 376 days, price decline of minus 77%, retracement of previous bull market, minus 136%. It's been a bad one, right? It's been a bad bear market. But the long-term trend with Bitcoin is, of course, up. Now, Pantera Capital believes that we're done with the previous bear market. We're beginning to grind higher. I believe the blockchain assets have seen the lows. We're in the next bull market cycle. This will be the 7th bull cycle after 6 bear cycles. All right. You can see this graph, major Bitcoin price cycles. See the bull and bear markets and the price of Bitcoin. Long-term trend is up. And you can see these parabolic uptrends and then these crashes, right? And just seeing that the depths of them. So it's been interesting. Minus 77%. It's a very, very bad drop. And this is what keeps a lot of people away from Bitcoin, investing in Bitcoin. Because they say, hang on a second, if I put $100,000 and it drops 77%, I've lost the majority of my money. You have to be crazy to invest in an asset like that. You have to look at Bitcoin over the long term, though. The way I look at it is the price that you pay for these 2.3 times increases per year on the average, as I've said here, is that you're going to have at some point a bad year, down year, to the tune of 70-odd%, maybe 80%, where you lose 80% of your money. And again, a lot of people can't handle something like that. They can't look at it and say, well, hang on a second, this is the price that I have to pay in order to capture these very, very large returns on the average over time. And this is always something that I'm telling to people who come and consult with me and INTJ billing when I do educational and public consultations with people who book consultations with me who are worried about the price of Bitcoin. And this is what I try to explain to them. I say, look, you're getting very large annual returns, but the price that you pay is that at some point you're going to lose 70 or 80% of that value before Bitcoin comes back up again over time, right? So yeah, have a look through this this Pantera blockchain letter, the latest one. Very interesting. And do take note carefully of those tables, the Bitcoin bull and Bitcoin bear markets, because again, there are people who have contacted me. They've seen my videos and they've said, look, I've invested in Bitcoin. I've lost a whole lot of money and it's because of you, right? Whereas I've never said to people to, like, these are people who've never consulted with me, who I look at my consultation list. They've never booked and paid for a consultation. I don't know who they are. They're just people who are viewing my channel. So I think the lesson is, though, to have a look at these previous bull and bear markets and understand that the way to win is the dollar cost average into Bitcoin over a very long period of time, right? Not try to time the markets, not invest a whole lot of money all at once, because again, you might be investing in a time when bang, it falls by 77%, right? So I think the only way to win is to hodl, right? Hold on for dear life. Dollar cost average over a long period of time, both in and out of the asset as well, right? Don't try to say, oh, it's a market high, I'm going to sell everything and cash in everything. I don't think that's the way to play it. I think it's like the tale of the tortoise and the hare, right? Yeah, I think the way to win it, and Tom Lee, he actually did an analysis of Bitcoin, and he said that if you missed, I think it was 10 days where Bitcoin has starts to go up a whole lot. If you miss those 10 days each year in Bitcoin, even if you've invested back in 2010, 11 and held to today, but sold on those 10 days each year, you would have actually lost money, right? So I think the only way to play it is to dollar cost average and hodl for the long term, right? That's all I really wanted to discuss in this video. All the best, everyone. I'm Clarke Towson, CEO of INTJ Billing.